Hello and welcome. This is going to be Capricorn reading for the next 48, and this is August, let's say 25th through the 27th, and we are now in a Sagittarius moon phase, so we're expanding a bit on that. Your homophone card for the day, or hour, since I'm Capricorn Sun myself, is waist. Upright. Waist, like around your waist. Which, I mean, what I want to say is it might not be a great 48 hours for eating. We may be, or it may be that we're focused on our waistline, like on eating healthier. It may be a good time to work on that. We did just come into the sun in Virgo, and Mercury is in Virgo. So, I mean, that's sixth house stuff, which is very much about health and being self-possessed and self-development, self-care, things like that. So it very well could be either be that we will have a focus on this, or that we should. You know, if you've been taking fairly good care of yourself, don't worry if you have a couple of cheat days over the next 24 hours, fellow Cappies. But if you've been having a lot of cheat days, then this might be a good time to make sure that you're getting back on track. Also, I find it okay. So the fact that it's a karate person with their belt tied around, but actually what it reminds me of is in some ceremonial practices, energetically, and empaths can do this too, so you might find this useful, is that if you feel like your auric shields, your ability to shield other people's emotions coming to you, or your emotions to others, it can be helpful to wear a red cloth around the waist, or even just a cloth that you have imbued with the energy of protection in that way. And a lot of times, Capricorns in particular, we can hold a lot of weight around our waists when we are kind of eating our emotions and allowing ourselves to be overburdened with the emotional weight of others around us, because we can be the rock, we can do stuff like that. But what I'm getting a sense of is that either you're going to find yourself feeling like you're doing that over the next 48 hours, or you're going to be tired of doing that and you're going to be, ready to work on that waistline. I don't know. Either way, let me know how your waist plays a part in your 48 hours. I'm kind of having fun including those cards in. What you got for tarot cards, interestingly enough, is one of our cards, the King of Pentacles. And if you identify as masculine, this might be you. You might be feeling like you're in a good balanced state. You feel like you've got, you're pretty grounded emotionally and your finances are doing pretty good. It might also signify that some pentacles are on their way in. You might be receiving some positive messages from a masculine around you, even if you are masculine, somebody who may have Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo placements or traits, and who is a balanced father figure, somebody who definitely does embrace the Virgo energy that we're coming in on, and they recognize and accept the responsibilities around them. So like I said, this could be you feeling this way, and even if you're, a balanced person has both masculine and feminine energy. So even if you're feminine, you could be feeling in this. And this is the last card of royalty before going up to, in the masculine line, it'd be the Emperor, and the feminine line would be the Empress. Either way, it's the fourth progression of royalty. It goes swords, wands, cups, pentacles. And so this is a good sign of maturity. And, well, I mean, we definitely appreciate maturity, don't we, fellow Cappies? In the subconscious, in the shadow card subconscious position, is the King of Wands. So we may be thinking about somebody who is not quite as mature as we are. Like I said, this is in the second progression. They may have Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius traits, in their charts. And I'm really getting called to the little lizard down at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it. It's like right there. And being that it is, it's got no, it's all black on there, and the representation of lizards in general can be subconscious things sneaking around. But it might be that you kind of get a sense that this King of Wands, like, he means well, but he's not quite, like, you can see that he's looking away, kind of like the Queen of Swords in that sense. Like, if you look at this King of Pentacles, he's fully open, right? He's not, even where he holds the pentacle, like, none of his chakras are blocked. He's very open, and he's looking at his pentacle, but he's not looking away. You can see his whole face. He's not hiding anything. He is a little modest, though, which is why he's overdressed, but he's on there. But this king, however, you can only, he's heart forward, so you can see his midsection, which you can't see on the Queen of Swords, but he's still facing away. You can only see one side of his face, and so he does usually hide things. They're usually more to do with self-worth, though, which does tend to do with this king. And usually we reflect each other, so fellow Cappies, it's likely that we are hiding some part of ourselves, especially, and because this is Wands, some part of something we would like to say. And it may be that we are dealing with a masculine figure who is still kind of coming into their energy as a mature, responsible person, but we can tell that they're hiding something. My recommendation is don't over-focus on that little lizard. I mean, it's really such a small part of the picture, and it's more likely, if it's really something that's that big of a deal, karma will bite him in the ass for it later. So don't worry too much about that. And if it's you that is, so you're hiding something or not focusing something on something that you need to focus on subconsciously, even a little thing, remember, especially us Cappies, we're going to overthink about that little thing. So, don't let it go to your waist, right? In pudding and cake, if you're really feeling like you need to speak up about something or deal with something, because remember, karma doesn't discriminate. It'll bite us in the butts too. And being Capricorns, we are extra connected to Saturn, and with Saturn in our sign Capricorn right now, karma is manifesting even faster. So do your best to create good karma, and that includes proper self-care. In the hot topic position, we have is this 9? Yeah, the 9 of Wands in reverse. So it might be a bit of exhaustion, especially when it comes to trying to uphold boundaries, or we might be dealing with somebody that does not respond to boundaries very well. Kind of a repeating cycle of it. It's kind of the hot topic of things. That might either be somebody you're dealing with directly, or you might be dealing with somebody who has someone else around them who has problems with this. Either way, this is, the hot topic of the next 48 hours, so it'll be being discussed for the most part, or at least at the forefront of our minds. In the heart of the matter, interesting, we have Knight of Swords. It might be that you would like to rush in and say something to someone, or save someone, or send a message to somebody, or that somebody would like to rush in and say something to you, or sometimes this can signify arguments and verbal debates, but usually in upright they're at least progressive. They get somewhere. But it's still a bit of an immature energy. So if somebody's coming at you with this energy, recognize that just because they're feeling triggered does not mean that you need to feel triggered. And likewise, if you are feeling triggered does not mean that they need to feel triggered. But give some grace. If somebody is attempting to communicate with you and they've not been able to before, it may be that they are trying to get to a more mature place, and sometimes it's easier to get there when the person that we're talking with has enough emotional security and personal boundaries to be able to be like, hey, look, I recognize you're triggered. Why don't we talk again when you're not feeling triggered? Because this is a healthy thing, or a healthy boundary, or a thing that does need to be discussed, whatever it is. Like, we Capricorns can get into an era of kind of feeling like we need to teach people lessons, and we don't need to do that. Let spirit handle that stuff. You just be your normal, kind self. And granted, don't take any crap, but you don't have to have the BS detector on all the time, and you can give people some grace for at least trying move things forward. Also, being that that card is at the heart of the matter and as a swords, it might be that someone with strong Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra traits is at the heart of said discussions about those boundaries with that Nine of Wands reversed. Now, let's see here. Underneath our King of Wands, interesting, look what he's looking right at, what's right underneath him. The Five of Swords. It may be, if this is somebody else that you're dealing with, that they are staring at a situation where there's conflict, arguments, possibly with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. There might be some kind of a third-party situation that is making it difficult for them to speak to you or have healthy boundaries. But I'm getting the sense, though, that because we have this out here, that it's the reflection thing. Especially if you are in a good, grounded, mature place, it is likely that you are helping them get there, and vice versa. If they are there, they're helping you get there. And it may be that you will help them level up, maybe even to that King of Cups space in this situation of immaturity and conflict. Yeah, right beneath that, we have the Ten of Swords in reverse, which is like a repeating cycle of betrayal and anxiety and things like that, and like a deep desire for a new start. So, I mean, with that reflection, clearly you and whoever else you're thinking of are really desiring a new start to be able to end the old cycles. And right underneath that, look at that, the Empress card. So, I mean, whether or not that is a person, whether it's you or somebody else, it's the energy of receptivity, of going with the flow, of feminine essence, of being able to be empathetic and kind and abundant. That's really good to see. And it's funny, so if we look at the way that these lay out, the conflicts are sandwiched between the Empress and the King of Wands. And you know what, that kind of, to me, it seems like, especially with Swords energy, that there might be a truth recognized, that there are third-party conflicts in between you and somebody else that really need to be resolved in order for you to be able to have a fresh start. Beneath that Empress is the King of Cups in reverse. Interesting. Queen of Cups upright. So we have the pair there. And yeah, the Queen of Cups upright and the Empress are sandwiching the King of Cups in reverse. It could be that you have a masculine figure who is feeling torn between a more immature energy and an Empress energy. And it's turning him upside down. He's not feeling emotionally mature, or you're feeling that energy. Beneath that, we have the Nine of Swords, kind of a nightmare situation, and the Nine of Cups beneath that. So we have two nines in there. In fact, and then we had the Nine of Wands in reverse in there too. So nines are significant to this ending of cycles. It's to a degree reunion energy. It's and it's rebirth energy, endings and rebirths. And beneath that Nine of Cups is the Queen of Wands. So we have a lot of royalty in here. Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups, King of Cups, King of Wands, King of Pentacles, the Empress. We're almost playing with like a full house here. Which tells me that there might be a fair amount of voices and opinions, and that you might also kind of feel a little bit tested to access your flexibility in being in these different states, and so will a counterpart of yours, whether that's friend, family, or somebody at work, or a romantic partner. Either way, it looks like it turns out well. It's at least stable, and money looks reasonably good, and looks like things are going to be fairly mature. And I mean, there's plenty of Virgo energy in there in terms of waste. It could even be, I mean, on the other side of that waste is waste. It may be like waste not, want not. Time to get in shape. Time to get things in shape, you know? Maybe that things are getting into shape and you don't have to quite fight it so much. Anyways, Cappies, I'm coming across my time limitations in the longest reading of the day. If you have any questions, you know where to leave them, you know where to reach me, and thank you for your likes, shares, and subscribes.